Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another scene set in Edessa for Dark Crusade. On this cold winter's evening, but a few days before uh, the day of Christ and Saint Nicholas, because we all love him.
Yes.
He gives us nice, cool things. We set the scene in Timrin with the Lady Irene, child of the town's prince,
Hi.
who has recently awoken from the day sleep and has been preparing herself for a meeting with a figure she knows she is due to meet today, just not knowing whom it might be, only knowing that they do in fact exist.
Yeah, she will be dressed nicely, not overly nice, and of course she will wear the object that she always wears, that I really should put in my blue booking, that she always wears. Ah, and yeah, she'll, I guess she'll go and find Ulrich if he's not in the same room, which would make it infinitely more easy to find him. Unless she was told to wait, then she would wait.
Um, you both get up around at the same time, so
Yes. So she'll be slightly curious and will ask basically, so, who am I having a meeting with?
you'll find out when you meet them.
Okay. Being very mysterious about this.
No more so than I usually am.
That's not entirely true. It's also not entirely false. All right. I'll I'll wait.
Well, on quite the contrary, it is the person you are due to meet that is waiting for you.
Oh, so early. Okay.
Come with me.
Yes, my prince.
He'll offer you his arm.
She'll give him a quick kiss and then take his arm.
Gladly accepts and begins walking you down the halls of the fortress and out of the building. Uh, Actually, before you do stop briefly, he tells one of his stewards to set up a carriage for you both. At which point you do end up walking out of the building and simply waiting for the carriage.
Okay. Irene will glance suspiciously at the lake as always. Is there still something with that lake that she didn't quite catch?
That's at the back, not at the front.
Well, you know,
You look
I'm sure
vaguely in the
she'll.
direction of the lake, but
Yeah.
there is a big old fortress in your way, destroying that view. Wow,
That's good.
what a mean fortress.
I always thought it was somewhere at the side. I didn't know it was at the back.
No, it's
My
a
bad.
backland. Yeah.
My bad. I kind of figured it was a garden all around and with, well, it's good.
About a minute passes. and your carriage is brought in front of the steps, around the trail, just in front of the doors to your home. And Ulrich will see you inside.
Yep.
But he will simply say, I would go with you, but I have duties to attend to.
Wait, you're not coming along? But how do I know who I need to meet if you're not there?
It will be quite clear when you reach your destination.
All right. I had looked forward to us driving together, but I understand.
I'm sure we can make time for each other later on this evening.
I hope so.
So give her a small parting kiss and say, well then, I'll see you later on this evening.
I'll see you soon, my prince.
See you soon. He'll gently close the door and the carriage will be off.
Yeah, Irene will just sit in the carriage and thinks on what is going to happen. Actually, especially now that she's alone, she's just sort of absent-mindedly stroking the fabric of her dress, which is a habit that she has when she gets a little nervous. Yeah, just lets her mind wander.
Your mind wanders. You drift off into thought. And time passes rather quickly as you soon reach your destination.
Okay.
Local church at center of town. Town only has one church. And the mosque actually sits opposite it. On the other side of the town square.
Yeah, Irene will get out, just start a sort of looks around. Looks at the church and looks at the driver. Is this my destination? She points at the church.
I believe so, ma'am.
Oh, right. My lord likes surprises. I suppose I was not aware. Thank you.
Of course. I'll be waiting outside until you finished your business, ma'am.
If there's like an inn or a pub nearby, she'll just give him some coins so that he could at least go somewhere where it's warm and where he can have a drink.
This will end well.
Never drink and drive, but they didn't know that in medieval times, so it's fine.
I feel like they caught on eventually.
I doubt it.
Just not enough roadside obstacles.
She's not giving him enough to get drunk. Just, yeah, she'll straighten her dress and will get into the church.
You enter the church. And it is quite a nice looking church. It's not large enough to be a cathedral, but it has those stained glass windows and a clean polished wooden floor and these large arcs. That stand over you as you walk down into the church. And at the end, simply resting along one of the pews, right up towards where the name, I can't remember the name of it again.
I don't know what you want to say.
It's a stand. There's a name for it. Sitting just before on the pews, just before the lectern.
Mm-hmm.
There is this gentleman.
Irene will look incredibly surprised.
Clad in white and brown robes. Rather dainty, but fairly tall. Above average height. Focused look on his face, rather calm and collected, contented look on his face.
Irene will, as I said, look surprised as he recognizes this individual. We'll walk up, but if he is busy, if he's praying, or if he's like simply in thoughts, if he doesn't,
He's not.
okay. In that case, you will curtsy. My Lord Abraham, it is a surprise to meet you here. Are you well?
I am. Thank you for asking.
I am relieved. I must admit, I worried when I heard your clan had disappeared from Edessa.
My brother had strayed too far from the path. I could no longer stay.
I'm sorry to hear this. But I am glad that you are well and safe.
My only wish is that there were more of us in the world who were.
I understand.
Ulrich told me you wished to speak with me.
I did. I did. I was looking for someone who could help me understand some things regarding this object I carry and responsibilities that come with it. I had no idea he had you in mind. I was not aware who I was going to meet.
Then perhaps our prior meetings were predestined, for this seems fortuitous. How did you manage? Oh, sorry, no, he won't interrupt you.
No, please, go ahead.
No, he doesn't say anything.
Um, I lost my train of thoughts the moment I was like, oh, I need to shut up. So please go ahead.
Irene, no.
That's not Irene, that's all me.
Irene. uh, it's rare that one of our kind comes into possession of an item that you possess. Even rarer that one is able to continue to possess it.
It was given to me. A gift from, well, do you remember the town of Erla?
I remember that hamlet, yes.
Do you remember the unique inhabitants of it?
I remember the people there being ever so sad and broken, but so much closer and kinder as a result.
Mm. Many of them were hunters. I got this crucifix, and she'll actually take it off. Just holds it in her hands, slightly outstretched. Uh, I've got this crucifix as a gift from their leader.
Interesting.
Why?
I can only imagine he saw something in your future that would possess him to grant it to you.
He didn't tell me that he had an insight in my future.
It may have defeated the purpose if he did, although I cannot say. I can only speculate as to what may have been running through his mind. But are you, as a slightly, it's like a very slightly comical, teasing grin. Like it's very, very slight. It's like the way he expresses himself is very gentle.
Mm-hmm.
He just says, "Are you well? I can only imagine the amount of trouble you've managed to get yourself into by acquiring this item and holding on to it for so long."
As far as I can tell, I am not different in health of body and mind as I was, or than I was before I received this crucifix. As far as trouble I've got in, I think this item has helped me more than it has hindered me. I've grown used to the uncomfortable feeling it gives me, and it must admit that it gives me a certainty. A security, I suppose.
He he just asks, "May I examine it?"
Of course. She'll, you know, she already had her arm somewhat outstretched towards him. with the crucifix in it, so she'll just take a step closer and place it in his hands. Very carefully, actually.
He silently handles it for a little bit. He just kind of looks at it for a full minute. Not just the crucifix, but the string that binds it. It has been sanctified for you.
For me?
I believe that is why you are able to use it. It will never acknowledge what you are, or never accept what you are, or rather the power within it, but it is why you are able to wear it. It is why your own faith might empower it.
But how can it be sanctified for me?
Him gifting it to you, clean of conscience, may have been enough.
I see.
But I believe there may have been more to this. Than our understanding permits.
Mm. I spent one day in that town.
What did you think of it?
I do not know. I came there to free those of our kind who've been captive. Well, that of course did not go as well as I had hoped. And about as bad as can be expected. And frankly, I think especially the others There were four of us: Malkavian, Setite, uh, one of the hounds, the sheriff, and myself. We were immediately surrounded. I expected that they would have killed all of us, but instead they took us to church, I believe, and we talked. By the end of the conversation I had with this leader, I was allowed to pick someone and take them back to Edessa. But as we walked back to the group, the hound who had not been taken captive had started a distraction so that the three of us could run. He was firing an arrow at the leader of the hunters, and I jumped in front of it. The other Canaanites I was with, they did run away, but I'd given my word and I felt bad breaking it. So I stayed there, and me and their leader, we talked more the next night, and I was allowed to still take one of the captives and go. I can't claim that I understand the pain that drove them into the life they lived. And I do not like the idea that they hunt us down without nuances. But I sympathized, and to a certain level I did understand. All of the people there had lost someone, to one of our kind, and I can only imagine that that must have hurt it. I wish things were better between us and human society.
Maybe that is why he did what he did. Maybe he saw that in you.
I do not know.
Maybe this is him testing himself.
I wished I could have talked with him again, but I am not even sure if he's alive. I hope so.
He hands you back the crucifix. Let me make quick wits awareness.
Me or you?
You.
Oh, me. Okay.
I just rolled it.
Okay. Come on, sheet. Yes. Wits. Oh, I have low wits. Awareness. Irene clearly isn't very witty. I suck.
Everything is fine.
Mm-hmm.
He hands you the crucifix.
Yeah, she'll take it and put it around her neck again. So far, I've managed to hurt Infernalist things with it. A guard around the room, set up in signals on a door, objects that were used in Infernalist rituals, and I think I heard a demon with it. But although I am very grateful with these gifts, and I've been thanking God every night upon awakening and every morning before I go to sleep, I do not. I would wish that I could use this faith within me through this crucifix to help others.
I can't tell you how to go about using your newfound power to help others. That is only something that you can discover for yourself.
Of course.
But what you hold is something that two of our kind ever have the chance to possess. Not the not the cross, but a purpose. Something that can bring hope.
I wish. I wish I could.
Do not wish. We wish and pray for things that we cannot do on our own. When we can do good, we should simply do it.
Wise words, my lord.
I am no lord.
But you are.
I am simply the man of the church, nothing more. And nothing less. He seems contented by the statement.
Irene will smile. Is there a way, perhaps, that I could bring you some hope? A way in which I can perhaps repay you?
My final debt was paid a long time ago, and you have already given me more than enough hope that a future that we were supposed to bring to others might exist within one outside of us.
I am afraid I do not know enough about you and those you call us to appreciate your sentiments fully.
Perhaps it's for the best that it is.
I am.
Perhaps this is just another chapter in our lives. Perhaps it is better that we humble ourselves now so that we might better heal others later. But truly, that is perhaps more important than anything else.
Perhaps, but it does not. To use the words of a small child, that I still am in many ways, it is not fair. And I do not like it when things are not fair. You should have as much right to exist as anyone, and to exist in a place where you want to exist.
I agree, but I would not want to risk the lives of those I associate with by revealing myself publicly to those who have clearly stated their intent upon me and those like myself. Nor would I wish to court destruction when I know there is still much more good I can do. If there is one true freedom I have found, that nothing can take away from any one of us. Perhaps the single blessing of our condition as the children of Cain is that we as individuals may dictate the terms of how we end. It is not a freedom that I shall ignore.
I hope one day I can have but a little of the wisdom that you possess.
I'm not sure I would call myself wise. I have not told you anything you do not already know.
Some of the best lessons given are those that we already feel within ourselves. I would give up any new knowledge over knowing that you're safe.
Do not worry, my safety has been seen to.
Is there any advice you can give me regarding she kind of, taps on the crucifix?
Hope begets hope. You hold a great piece of it with you. But if you find its center, you might find that you have enough for a miracle. It is as they say, that the impossible is only achieved when it is believed that it can be done.
I first thought that there was just power in this item. But I've begun to understand that the item is a conduit for the power of my trust in God and my trust in His plan and His words.
So I didn't quite catch the last part of that.
Irene said that she first thought that this crucifix was just a held power in itself, but that she's beginning to believe and understands that uh, the crucifix is a conduit for her trust and faith in God and His words and His path. Something like that.
That may be. I wish you luck with whatever path you choose to walk.
For as far as we are creatures of the night, I hope that I can at least walk in the moonlight. I hope that our paths will cross again. And I will keep you in my prayers. Yeah, I guess with that, this is sort of over, and Irene will curtsy. And we'll start to head out.
He will nod at you and wish you well. As you return to your carriage driver, who is a little bit tipsy,
That is fine.
but still proper enough to drive.
Yeah, and with many more thoughts in her head, Irene will sit in the carriage until they arrive at the palace again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we can end the scene there.
Yes.
Thank you very much, ST, for STing.
Yeah.
Yay. Night, night.
Bye bye.